So if you watched Eddie's video, you'll know that basically what Eddie says in the video is that 1 by 0 is equal to undefined, which is what, most people consider to be true, but that's exactly what I'm going to be disproving today using proper facts and proof and all that kind of stuff, right? I'm not just going to be throwing random stuff at you. If you haven't watched the video, don't worry. I'll explain it as thoroughly as I can, and then you can go watch the video later just to get some context. I'll leave a link to Eddie's video in the description. So basically what Eddie says is that we can think of 1 by 0 as something like this. 1 upon 0.1, and then you can take 1 upon 0.01, 1 upon 0.01, 001, and so on, using the concept of limits. We know that this is 10, this is 100, and this is 1,000. So looking at this series, we can conclude that if we go to 1 by 0, this will very likely be infinity, right? Concluding from this entire series, as we progress down the scale, this is what we can come to. But then what Eddie says is that, what about if we take 2 upon 0.1? This is equal to 20. If we take 2 upon 0.01, this is equal to 200. And if we take 2 upon 0.001, this is equal to 2,000. So in similar fashion, this also approaches 2 upon 0, and this approaches infinity. So, if we just prove that 1 upon 0 is equal to infinity, and 2 upon 0 is equal to infinity, so here Eddie argues that that means that 1 upon 0 is equal to 2 upon 0. And that just means that 1 is equal to 2, right? But we know that this is a fact, 1 is not equal to 0. So where exactly, do things start to fall apart? So the very simple concept that not a lot of people have till now accepted is that infinity is not equal to other infinities. So I know this seems sort of hard to understand right now, but basically what I'm trying to say is that one infinity is not the same as another infinity. Think of it like this. Infinity 1 is not equal to infinity 2. Now, I'm not saying you think of it like 2 infinity, 3 infinity, though I have explained a nice infinity concept in one of my videos. It's the last video. You can go check that out if you do want to. But basically, in other theory, what I'm saying is that infinities are not equal. Basically, the concept of infinity is not of a number. You cannot think of infinity as a number x. That's not how infinity works. Because to be able to equate 1 by 0 equal to infinity equal to 2 by 0, you're assuming that infinity is constant. But infinity is actually not constant. Infinity is not a constant here like x or k. That's not how infinity works, right? Infinity is a very, very gray sort of area, which I've tried to define in my previous video as well, using the infinity plane. But basically what I mean to say here is that infinity cannot be expressed as a constant. Infinity is not a constant, right? It's like, think of it like this. Suppose you have 9, 9, 9, 9, infinite number of 9s, and then you have 9, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, and an infinite number of 8s. You can see that this number is clearly larger than this number, but both of them are just infinity, right? So using this sort of logic, you can figure out that not all infinities are actually equal. So once we conclude the fact that not all infinities are equal, we come to the conclusion that 1 by 0 is equal to infinity 1, and 2 by 0 is equal to infinity 2. So this is fine, okay? Our concept stays valid that 1 by 0 is in fact equal to infinity, right? Because we just proved that infinities do not have to be the same and that we cannot equate the two of these, right? We just proved that. But then Eddie Wu uses another example where he takes 1 upon minus 0.1, and then 1 upon minus 0.01, and then 1 upon minus 0.001. Basically, he's arguing that instead of going down from 1, we're going up from negative 1. This is minus 10, this is minus 100, and this is minus 1,000, right? We know all of this. So basically, in this way, Eddie says that this approaches 1 by 0, and this approaches negative infinity. Well, what does that mean? That means that negative infinity is equal to infinity. But that's not possible, right? That is not possible. So where's the flaw here? Where's the flaw in this part of the theory? Where exactly did Eddie go wrong here? Basically, what happened was, if we look at 1 upon minus 0.1, whenever, we take this conclusion, the problem that Eddie made was that he kept the minus sign in the denominator. What was actually meant to be the series that he wanted to express was minus 1 upon 0.1, right? And then minus 1 upon 0.01. And then minus 1 upon 0.001. This is the same thing. Notice this. All these and these are the exact same thing, right? But the problem is that instead of keeping the negative in the denominator like this, which is incorrect, we moved the minus sign up to the numerator, removing it from the denominator, right? That's basically what we did. So once we do that, once we apply that, we will see that this still approaches 1 by 0, but instead of 1 by 0, now it approaches minus 1 by 0. Because you see, you have minus 1 on top. You have minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. So it doesn't actually approach 1 by 0. It approaches minus 1 upon 0. And this is equal to minus infinity. And all of a sudden, it suddenly makes so much more sense. And you can very well conclude that 1 by 0 is indeed infinity, full stop. We can conclude this because we just disproved those two ways of, sort of contradicting this statement. And basically the fundamental here is that so many people make a mistake in misunderstanding infinity, right? The essence of infinity. Infinity is not a constant like x or k. That's the wrong way to think about infinity. Instead, infinity is like sort of this weirdly, a weird definition, sort of a number, which just has sort of a gray definition. Again, I've tried to explain infinity using my infinity plane. Go watch my video if you want to know more about that. It's called the infinity paradox. And basically, what I've tried to say is that infinity to infinity, this is basically how infinity progresses, and minus infinity, minus to infinity. So do check that out if you're more interested in, hearing my thoughts on infinity. But that's pretty much it for this video, and do go watch Eddie's video. He's an amazing teacher, no disrespect to him. But I just think that on this particular point, I disagree. Let me know in the comments if you believe in this or if you're on Eddie's side. This is sort of a new concept, nobody thinks this way, so I want to know what you guys think, and if I have hit something or if I'm just, fooling around. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.